So, welcome everybody. So glad you're here. I mean, this is all about abundance and substance and supply. That's what our theme is this month. And the theme for today, or the talk title, is We Live in an Abundant Universe with an Infinite Resupply. So, is there any doubt that we live in an abundant universe? I mean, can you see it? Can we see what we created today with our song leader? I mean, how abundant is that? And I heard that it's going to be every week, right? Yay! I'm sure you will be welcome. I mean...
Las Vegas, I was told.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And so I'm not talking about money, although there's nothing wrong with money. It was kind of funny because I wanted to find something in this theme that wasn't directed at just money. Because freedom is it's really more about freedom. But I couldn't find anything in YouTube. Everything was about all these different ways of getting more money. And I didn't want that to be about that today. Everybody can do that on their own. We're going to talk about something a little different from that. And your prosperity consciousness will bring whatever you want to your life, whether it be money or friendships or a deeper understanding of spirit, many, many different ways. And I mean, what are some ways that you can think of right now? Just what is a way of being abundant in the universe that is not necessarily financial? Friends and time, yes. Good health. Yes, having enough to give away. Service to others. So we're going to talk about what does it look like to live in an abundant universe. It looks like this room, for one. And how do we create abundance for ourselves? And how do we know abundance for others? So first we're going to talk about what does it look like? What does an abundant universe look like? It can be seen in tiny, tiny ways or very large ways. We can talk about a harvest, like a literal harvest, a harvest of an idea or a harvest of my brother's working in North or South Dakota on the beet harvest. It's a big, big thing, and he searched all over to find just the right farm to work with that would treat him good and receive his goodness. And so he found this one, and he drives his big pink truck, and sometimes, and it's just so amazing. I have been so enchanted by this whole thing that he's doing because his truck has these big, huge, sharp blades that go through the ground and get these beets, and then it throws it into the truck. And sometimes it's so muddy that another much bigger truck, probably tires as big as that beige curtain, one tire, is pulling him out of the mud as this thing is working and bringing in the beets. So, I mean, talk about abundance. Everybody is winning there. He's making lots of money. People come in to just do the beet harvest, such a big thing. And of course, the owner is selling the beets to, I don't know where all, I'm sure all over the world. And he's making friends, and they love him. And he's not always loved places, and here he is feeling so loved. And he's mostly working with Hispanic workers that actually are doing the harvesting. But when I think about it, the seeds that were planted, they wanted beets. So they didn't plant apple seeds for trees, they planted beets. And they got beets. And so that's what happens with us too. Whatever we plant in our mind, whether it's a positive thought or maybe not so positive. When Elliot was talking about how she went through the self-loathing, seeds had been planted, not just from herself, but from culture, from jobs, from from herself, and it created the self-loathing in herself, those seeds. But she decided to pull those weeds out and planted a new seed. And now look at her. You know, she has how many Toastmaster groups that she leads? And she's amazing. I mean, she is definitely an example of an abundant universe right there in that one person. And that's how I feel about all of you that I know here. I could tell stories on each one of you, almost every one of you. And it doesn't take long for me to pick them out and find them. So we do get help on our fertilizing and nurturing our thoughts. We get help, don't we? We get help from spiritual practice, from spirit and nature itself. So going into nature, meaning even just a park in a city park, is nature. It doesn't have to be big. Sometimes that stops people because they want it to look a certain way, but it can just be something small, the park at the end of the block or whatever, just, somewhere to collect your thoughts. And there are people that can get that same feeling from going into a concert. So it really just depends. It depends on you. And so also, what about the blessings and the favors that you're blessed with, that you give yourself or that you're witness to? Because when you're witness to something, which I'm going to give you an example, I felt so blessed by a story that my sister was supposed to be here so she could hear this story, but she went to Hawaii and got back just a little over a week ago, and her flight was coming in at like 12:15 at night, and nobody really wanted to go wake up or stay up that late and go get her. So she's very independent, so she learned how to do the, not the Lyft, but the Uber, and got it on her phone, practiced it once in Hawaii, so she knew she could do it. And so but she was a little bit anxious about it, so she told some people, and somebody said, "Oh, you're not going to do that. I'm going to come and get you." And this person actually had a huge event the next day. So she did her sleep in like 4 hours before. She set the alarm, went and got my sister. This is from Fremont to Oakland. And then went back and slept for another 4 hours. But not only did she do that, but she parked the car, went in the airport into the baggage area, and met her there so she could help her bring her suitcases off. I mean, John doesn't even do that. People don't do that. Sorry. People don't do that. I didn't mean to let that slip. But, yeah, we don't, right? We wait in the cell phone parking lot. We wait for the call, and, and then you slide up and you go to the door. And anyway, this person went way beyond. And it was so touching, and she didn't have any resentment at all. When Christy got into the car, there was like a Hawaiian little tablecloth thing on the arm rest in the back seat. She had Hawaiian cookies. She had, what was it? I know. Yeah. And a nice cold water, to greet her. And so it was just so beautiful. I mean, that spirit, and this person does happen to be Hawaiian. So that, maybe that is part of the culture, I don't know. And not only did she do this, but she had a friend come with her. So, it's like attracts like. And then my sister attracted that to her. And then it rippled out to me. And it rippled out to this whole room. Because now you've heard the story. And it'll ripple out to somebody else. And that's what good does. Her name is Kanani, the person who did that. And I felt that, she was contributing what an abundant universe looks like. And with her caring. And I have like I said, probably a dozen stories of the people right here of similar ways that people share and they show their abundance through their actions. And they don't have to be rich. You don't have to be rich to have abundance. We have something that we do in this center called Gourmets for God. And it's about 14 events that happen over, really fast. So you're embedded with this group, and you really learn all the fun things about them and what kind of events they have at their homes or bowling alley. Or we just went to a tea yesterday that Pat and her sister put on, and it was so abundantly beautiful. And the sharing that went on, and even the sharing of the people that were there, was so deep and rich and giving. So hopefully you're around the next time we do it, and it'll probably start, we want to start it earlier because we try to get 14 events in like 4 months. We're almost done. We'll have our last event. Joe Beckner is having ballroom dancing early November, and there's actually more room for that one. So, right? Yeah. Okay. So, I bet Kanani doesn't really know what she has created in the way that she was so kind in this one situation. I've never met her, but I can imagine that that's her norm, that this is what she does. So I wanted to talk also about a story from the Bible it was First Kings chapter 17. I don't even know exactly how to quote the Bible, but verse 8 to 16. And it's about the prophet Elijah who went to the home of a widow who lived in Zarephath. And the woman and God had directed Elijah to go to this home, and that this woman, who was very, very, very poor, would provide him with his needs for the visit and the work that he was going to be doing there. She barely had enough flour and oil to make something to feed herself and her son. But she expected that after they had eaten, the two of them would face starvation and die. But Elijah said to her, "Do not fear. Go and do as you have said, but make me a small cake from it first, and bring it to me, and afterward make some for yourself and your son." So despite her poverty, the woman obeyed. She felt the need to obey this instruction from Elijah, a man of God. And the story continues with the woman, her son, and her household having enough and plenty to live on afterwards. It seemed that Elijah's request and the woman's response transformed her situation. So she had faith. And it's an abundant universe. That's not new news. That has always been. So how do we create abundance for ourselves? Any thoughts about that? Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, for sure. Yeah. That's key. Acts of good.
Smile.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always more where that comes from, right? Yes, being present. Any others? Feeling compassionate. Yes. Listening. Yes. Yeah, there's actually, I'm going to be quoting that. We all come from the same cloth. Yes.
It's remembering how it works. It's flow.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was flying back from Wichita, and this last week, and I kept getting thanked for my business by one of the flight attendants, and it was always a little, over the top, and I thought about it further, and I was like, if you don't fly me there, I can't go earn my living. I can't go do my work, right? So it's not just thank me, but thank you for getting me there.
Right, right.
So it's thinking about that circle.
Yes, yes. Yeah. That is great. Well, Eric Butterworth is a New Thought author, and he has a book called Spiritual Economics. And in the preface to that book, I don't have the book here, it probably is in our library, is there is a great need to establish ourselves, just like what you're talking about, in omnipresence of universal substance. So universal is everywhere, even in the impossible places that you can't imagine it being. It is there. Just like the old saying, there's no spot. Let's see, how does that go? There's no spot where God is not. Yeah, yeah. So you are part of Source with all the power of Source to create galaxies. And you're the one that chooses. I am the one that chooses. We are all the ones that choose our limitations. But your power remains unlimited. Whether you create your limitations or not, it's there and it's unlimited. Just tapping into it. So pure potentiality, seeking expression, seeks expression from the unmanifest to the manifest. There's a TV show now called Manifest. Has anybody seen it?
Yeah.
It's different.
It's about a manifest on a plane.
It's a manifesting list of people who survived it.
Oh, okay, like a manifest list. Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
Big show called God Friended Me.
Yeah.
There's a show called God Friended Me.
Oh.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, is it?
Hmm.
No.
So also, how can we know abundance in others? How do you think that might be? And we're all one, right? So what we know for ourselves, we can know for others. And I mean, there is a power in the universe greater than you, greater than me, greater than any of us. And we can use it. It's something that we can use in everyday life. There's no exceptions.
I would also say absence is true. Abundant people that are constantly talking about abundance or lack.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, pardon? Yes. Yes. And you think it's more a state of mind? Because I know I've seen people very, very poor, and they're happy. And when I went to Jamaica, I saw just situations that I've never seen before. You know, just little shacks, and I would see the kids in line for the bus to come, and they were happy. They were smiling, and they were wearing these starched white uniforms and waiting for the bus and jumping rope and playing together. And I'll never forget that. And, you know, they're just a different standard than we're used to. So when the greatest teacher that ever lived said, "It is done unto you as you believe," what do you think he was talking about? I'll tell you. What I think, or what I've read, is that he was talking about a power that is close to us, nearer than our hands and feet. It's inside, it's all throughout us. How would we use this power that is near to us? Certainly, we would have to use it in an intimate way, because it's us. You don't borrow that power from somebody else. I mean, you might go to a counselor to have that person help you see it for yourself, but it is intimate. It is our experience. You know, it's interesting, beliefs, because some things are so easy to believe. We believe that tomorrow will come. Most people believe that. We believe that the grass will grow, weeds will grow, flowers will grow, and we believe that our food will digest. And If we believe that, why couldn't we believe in our power? Right? You can't see it, but it is, you can feel it. It's real. And that whole thought is taken from a talk by Ernest Holmes called Secrets of Belief. And I just wanted to add a couple more things. The time always goes so fast. I went to a play called Black Odyssey. Has anybody heard of it? Nobody? Oh my gosh. This is the last weekend. It was... Really? So it's at the Cal Shakespeare Theater in Orinda. So it's an outdoor theater, and they had a 2 o'clock show and then a nighttime show. It was the most amazing all-black cast play that I've ever seen. And there was one character called Benevolence. And the character personality was so interesting. And I had heard that word through my life, but I didn't think about it being such a positive word. For some reason, I just didn't. And so I looked it up, and I was so intrigued. And so what benevolence means is act of kindness, an inclination to be kind, a quality of someone who volunteers in a soup kitchen. I mean, we're getting down here. Tutors children for free, helps old ladies cross the street, which I'm getting those. I'm getting those requests or those offers more often now. Big-heartedness, altruism, humanitarianism, compassion, and philanthropy. And these are also traits of a person with substance and the desire to be an infinite resupply. It's just like my sister's friend. Can't even think of her name right now, but thank you. And so that was exactly what this character was in this play. She was almost like I don't know what the theater word for it is, but she was like, we could see her, but she really was more invisible. Her character was more an idea. The benevolence was an idea. It was so good. She was my favorite character. So I have a few affirmations I'd like to share. And it'd be great if we could repeat. You could repeat with me. I am grateful that the universe provides.
I am grateful that the universe provides.
I welcome the giving and receiving of the blessings of Spirit.
I welcome the giving and receiving of the blessings of Spirit.
I am grateful to be an open vessel.
I am grateful to be an open vessel.
Ready to accept the bounties of my source.
Ready to accept the bounties of my source.
Inner peace is more important than all the riches in the world.
Inner peace is more important than all the riches of the world.
And the last one is a good heart, benevolent feelings, and and a balanced mind lie as the foundation of character. Yes. So I'm going to end with those thoughts and ask that you, each of you, take some of these thoughts with you this week and look at your life and look at just how rich you are, how blessed you are in your life when your bank account may not show it. It may not. But what are some other things? What else can you see in this abundant universe, an infinite resupply that really does affect you, that you count on, you believe in it. You don't have to see it. It's just something that is there. So who is up to that challenge for this week? Yay!
Thank you for your commitment. Yes.
Thank you. So let's pray. So in this universe, in this world, in this city, in this room of infinite resupply, I know that each of us are one in spirit. And I know that as we go through our life, we see more and more goodness and benevolence and richness in the world, in our daily activities. And we're willing to let go of anything that clouds that. And I'm just so grateful for this teaching, grateful for everybody here, that you're willing to go deeper in who you are. And I release this knowing it is true in mind already. And so it is.